I recently had the chance to sit down with the man who has played in and called the big game. Panther great Greg Olsen has been keeping busy since retiring with his career in TV and charity work. Ahead of his upcoming charity event at the end of the month, we discuss those topics as well as the current state of the Carolina Panthers. Here's that conversation. Well, we have none other than Panther great Greg Olsen in the building joining us. Greg, I know obviously year 3 of your Ungala. Just how have you seen things grow? What are some things that, just people can expect this year that you guys are going into year 3 this event?
Yeah, it continues to just amaze us. When we first started this out, when we had the conversation with Stake 48, and they were nice enough to open their doors. They've done this at other locations around the country, and they presented us with the opportunity to host what's really become our signature event on our calendar for our foundation. For 3 years running now, to have a waiting list, to have this place sold out, and some of our closest supporters, so many members of the community from corporate America, Fortune 500 companies, local celebs, and former athletes. It's just a really cool cross-section of the Charlotte community, which is what makes our foundation unique.
You're still here in Charlotte, of course, played here, made a home here. Got to talk about the black and blue. There's a lot of changes once again for another year. When you look back on 2023, I know you watch from afar, being in the job that you're in now, what do you think went wrong with the team this year?
Yeah, obviously a lot. I think it was not the year that anyone imagined. I think anytime you move on from your coach without even getting through the first half, I don't know, was it half the season? A little halfway, whatever it was. It was clear to Dave Tepper and to the decision makers that it just wasn't the right fit. And for that, I give them credit, right? I think there's a lot of people that struggle admitting mistakes. And sometimes bad mistakes then compound because you're never willing to walk away from them. So I give credit for that. It clearly wasn't working. I think going forward now with Dave Canales and Dan Morgan, what has to happen going forward now is there needs to be a culture and an identity of winning, where expectations of everyone walking in the building on a daily basis, player, coaches, staff, everyone, fans walking in the stadium on weekends, expectation of winning needs to be a consistent.
You mentioned Dave and Dan. Obviously, you spent a year with Dave, obviously at the end of your career in Seattle. What did you see in him then, obviously as an assistant, that makes you feel like he can be the right fit for this team?
Yeah, we spent a lot of time together. As I've said, he was in the tight end room with me on a daily basis. That particular season as the pass game coordinator, spent a lot of time with him, out of the meeting room, just talking ball, talking philosophy, route running, scheme, approach, philosophy, and we were similar age, similar curiosity level. So I really connected well with Dave, probably as much as any coach that year out in Seattle. So, I was happy for him last year to get that opportunity. He didn't really get those opportunities in Seattle to be the play caller, and then, took advantage of it down in Tampa. You got to give them a lot of credit, and Dave obviously was a big part of that down in Tampa, and hopefully he brings a lot of that positivity, that energy, the connection with the players. That's kind of what it's been. His coaching style has been rooted in. The expectation is that he brings that here.
Dan's a Cane, you're a Cane. Dan's a Panther, you're a Panther. He's now leading the front office. Just how grateful are you to see him get this opportunity? I'm sure you guys have a very tight relationship, but also what can he bring to the front office and just give him a spark?
Yeah, I think the fact that he was a player and has his history, I certainly think it helps. I don't think it's necessarily like a prerequisite to being good. I think if you're good and you also happen to be a player, it just makes you better. The last couple of years since he's been here, what went wrong, what decisions they'd probably like to have back, what decisions do they wish they would have made differently. So I do think that's a unique perspective he brings, and I'm happy for Dan too. I like Dan, I like both these guys. I want them to do well. I want whoever got the job to do well. But they understand that they are going to be judged on wins and losses.
Coming off year 3 in the booth in Fox, first off, did you ever think that color commentary was ever in your future as a player?
Not when I was starting. It really just became like an organic process. I had a couple cool opportunities in TV when I was playing that I tried to take advantage of, and kind of said, hey, this calling games thing is pretty fun. There's an energy to it, there's a work to it that kind of resembled a little bit of what your playing career was like as far as the preparation and whatnot. So, yeah, I got a taste of it and I liked it, and that Fox was nice, believed in me enough that gave me the opportunity to grow. And, did I think I'd call the Super Bowl in my second year? No, but I did think I could be good at it. I did think that I had a unique perspective from my playing days and just the way I saw football, that I could bring a unique experience to the viewer. And I think in 3 years, that's what we've done. And where that goes from here, we'll see. But I think for the 3 years that we did it at a pretty high level. And it was a great experience.
Lastly, you did mention your future. How do you process that personally? Because I know obviously it might be similar to maybe handling trade rumors, something like that when you were playing. How do you personally process that?
Exactly the same way.
Yeah.
You're exactly right. It's exactly the same way. This is not the first time that teams have tried to replace me. I've been traded. I've been cut. I believe in my talents. I believe in what I'm good at. I believed it when I was a player. I always thought you're never going to bring anybody in better than me. Ever. If you cut me, you'll never be able to replace me. If you trade me, you'll never be able to trade me. I was right both times. So I believe that I just believe that in my heart, that if you're good at something, it'll work out. And all I can control is being good.